Gentlemen, we are gathered here today. I am here with Juan. Juan, how are you?
Tired.
He is quite tired. He's been playing a lot of video games. But we have a new addition to the world of FortMight. I'm joined here by good friend Carlos. Carlos, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Carlos, you've brought us a gift. You've brought us what true power looks like in 100 cards. This is your, what? Korvold Fae-Cursed King deck.
Correct. My initial thoughts for this deck was to make it as strong as can be, but budget restraints held me back from going all out on it. You guys could understand. So there's been a lot of cut corners in terms of power, which you'll see once we delve into it.
That being said, still probably more expensive than 3 or 4 of my decks combined.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
It's pretty expensive. Let's start getting into it. We'll kick it off with just talking about the commander. Now, for those uninformed and plebeian in nature, what can you tell me about Korvold, the Fae-Cursed King?
Korvold the Fae-Cursed King is a commander that's 2 generic and junk colors, which allow you to use sacrifice synergies to gain card advantage. It's extremely well. It rivals, if not exceeds, Prosh. You know, in terms of synergies.
Now, for those of you who don't know, like, he's using some big verbiages that bigger brain commander players know. To put it simply, this thing combos with a ham sandwich and sets up a lot of win cons very early, very quickly.
Yeah, no, if I had a name for it, it would probably be Korvold, the Combo Cursed King.
That's pretty good. We were playing with the name of a Turbo Korvold. Korvold the Extortionist. I like that one.
No. Extortion implies white-black. There's not you won't be seeing any of that.
True that. All right, let's move this out the way and start getting into creatures. It seems you have the deck set up in your own special way, going through CMCs.
Yeah, we're gonna start off simple. With converted mana cost. Let's just dive right in. Let's move Korvold out of the way here. Pat. Starting off with Lotus Petal, in case you need any fast mana, which allows you to draw a card on top of what you're doing. Lotus Petal is great, you know.
Now, to pause there, Juan, do you remember him saying he's cutting corners and missing some budget?
Yeah, how much is a Lotus Petal?
How much is a Lotus Petal?
I bought it when it was relatively cheap. I managed to just wait, no, incorrect. I think I pulled it out of a mystery booster. Yeah, I honestly forgot how much it is right now. It could have gone up, it could have gone down. I think it might have gone up. It might be around 17.
I can see Juan fact checking immediately. Let's keep moving before he just blurts out what Lotus Petal is.
All right. Next, Tormod's Crypt. Tormod's Crypt is extremely good again for opponent graveyard interaction in case they have any graveyard shenanigans going on. You can go ahead and stop that. With Korvold out, it also allows you to draw a card.
How does it allow? Oh, because you're sacrificing.
Because you're sacrificing it. Incorrect.
Okay.
Next is Entomb. Entomb allows you to search your library for a card and put it in your graveyard instantly, which you could use this to get out any creatures that you might want to combo off with. Granted, the downside being that you might have someone else who is also having graveyard removal, so you might leave yourself open for anyone to stop you. But if they can't stop you, well, then you just immediately throw your win con in the graveyard and
reanimate it from there.
Exactly. Next is Lightning Bolt. You know, it's a good old, solid removal. You know, it's just 1 mana, deal 3. I would like to have an Abrade instead, due to the fact that it also makes gives you the option to remove artifacts. But this is just fine removal. You know, Dark Ritual, more fast mana. You know, to push you through that threshold that you need to cast other cards. Crop rotation. This is for mana fixing. Yeah, in case you want to get any other things out. One green mana, instant sacrifice a land, draw a card from Korvold, and search for like maybe a fetch land or a dual land or like a Gaia's Cradle or anything. You know,
Right.
not that you won't be seeing a Gaia's Cradle in here. I wish I had one.
Jesus.
But let's move on. Phyrexian Reclamation. Phyrexian Reclamation right here is just a must in most decks due to the fact that it's just 1 mana and 2 mana, pay 2 life, get a creature from your graveyard to your hand. It's outstanding. This card. This card will also be a part of some combos that I have in this deck. Moving on, we have Reanimate. Reanimate is allows you to put a target creature card from a graveyard into the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost, but that's nothing. But that's nothing if you're just gonna win immediately.
So it seems like what you're doing is you're entombing a creature into the graveyard, and you have multiple ways to either get it to your hand or bring it back to the field.
Correct.
Okay.
Next is up Soul Ring. Everyone knows Soul Ring.
Good old-fashioned Soul Ring.
Good
Moving
old-fashioned
on.
Soul Ring.
Good old-fashioned soul.
You know, more fast mana. If you have just too much mana, you can sack it when you need to. You know. All right. Next is Skull Clamp. Now Skull Clamp is another solid card in this deck, which gives you more card draw than you already have. One generic, one to equip. Whenever an equipped creature dies, spend your graveyard, draw 2 cards. It's good. It's good for tokens. It's good for when Korvold sacks any creatures that you don't need anymore. You know, it's just more draw really. Sensei's Divining Top. This is also to be able to fix the top of my library to what I want to draw with Korvold in case I have something I might not want to draw.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe to dig for combo pieces or anything, which you can just tap to draw a card and put positive out on top of it. Insolent Neonate. Now, this is 1 red for a 1/1 vampire with menace. Discard a card, sacrifice Neonate, and draw a card. Now, this right here is like a special toolkit, sleight of hand kind of thing. You can discard a card, which means you can put like any combo pieces that you would have in your hand in your graveyard to resurrect later with the Entomb that we just saw.
Right.
It sacrifices itself, so you can draw for Korvold, and it itself draws you a card. So that right there is just great synergy.
Viscera Seer.
Viscera Seer.
If you don't know what a Viscera Seer is, just ask Juan. He'll go on for hours about it.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's a great fast sack outlet. It allows you to scry 1, but this is, you know, a lot of people use this for combo things. You know.
If you're running black, you probably are familiar with the Viscera Seer.
Correct. Carry-on Feeder, another sack outlet.
Please see everything said about Viscera Seer for Carry-on Feeder.
Carry-on, I think, is a better Viscera. Well, actually, no.
Not
Viscera's a better
really.
Carry-on, but Carry-on's good for, like, graveyard and potential for other combos.
But both of them are indeed.
Viscera is good for setup.
Both of them are great sack outlets, and which are easy to get out. This is more. These are mana dorks. This is
He's
a.
singing in Korean.
It's I believe it's Chinese, but this is Deathrite Shaman. Deathrite Shaman allows me to tap it to exile a land card from my opponent's graveyard to add 1 mana available color to my mana pool. I mainly use this for the first ability, which is the mana. Everyone does, but in case anyone has like anything in the graveyard that I might want removed, I can use its other abilities. You know, the black to, I believe, remove an instant or sorcery, and each opponent loses 2 life, and the green to remove a creature, and I gain 2 life.
Okay.
Birds of Paradise, more
birds.
mana dorks. Elvish Reclaimer for more synergies and mana fixing. It also pumps itself when there's 3 or more lands in my graveyard.
Okay.
Ignoble Hierarch, more mana fixing, another mana dork. Caustic Caterpillar, this is removal with synergy. It's a great it's great early, and it's basically omnipresent on the board. Whenever whenever anyone wants to play anything silly, you can they have to watch out for this. Scarlet Prospector, more fast mana. When you have Korvold out, you can draw a card.
Now, do you have a lot of goblins in this deck?
I only have, I believe, one other goblin, which you will see later.
Well, technically, yes, that would mean you have 3 total goblins, because then there's the ignoble hierarch as well.
I forgot he was a goblin. You were correct.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there, but... Okay.
I feel it might be coming up very soon. Altar of Dementia, another cheap sack outlet. This one allows you to sacrifice a creature. Target player puts a number of cards equal to the sacrifice power from the top of the library into the graveyard. This is great for milling people out if you have an infinite combo, or milling yourself in case you want to get things out faster.
The combo pieces into the graveyard.
Exactly, which you can resurrect later with some of the spells that I've shown. Mind Stone, you know, just more mana rocks. I can sacrifice it to draw a card.
And you just tap it for a colorless.
You tap it for a colorless, and then if I have Korvold out, I can pay 1 to draw 2, which is just great.
Right.
Arcane Signet.
What does that do?
Tainted Pact. Now,
it's money.
Tainted, it's not. Tainted Pact is it allows you to exile the top of your library. You may put that card into your hand unless it has the same name as another card exiled this way. I can repeat the process until I put a card into my hand or I exile 2 cards with the same name, whichever comes first. This is great to just go when you know you have game. You play this to just go get the other piece that might be missing. You usually run as little basic lands as possible for this to work, which is why I'm trying to trim down on my 10 basics here.
When I first looked into what competitive EDH is, this card is the first one that came across my desk. That and Food Chain, but
yeah. Over the years, it's a little bit different because now you have things like Demonic Consultation and the Thassa's Oracle. Everyone uses Thassa's Oracle, you know. You've probably seen this card in the Thassa's Oracle deck.
Yes,
just in
exactly.
Case. Return to Nature, just a nice little
removal for the artifacts.
Yeah, it's multifaceted for any situation. You know, you can pay 2 1 generic and 1 green for an instant that says destroy an artifact, enchantment, or exile a card from a graveyard. It's just, you know, it's a nice cheap removal. Rakdos Charm, another little toolbox spell here.
Ain't no party like a Rakdos party.
Correct.
Rakdos kill everyone.
I can pay a Rakdos, choose 1, exile a card from target player's graveyard, or destroy target artifact, or each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. So this third option I like very much because it allows me to punish anyone going wide, as well as the first one here, which I can exile a card from target player's graveyard. That's more a graveyard hate right here.
That would have been useful.
Yeah,
some of those games against 1.
I may also use it to just destroy an artifact, you know. This is a Sulaport Cutthroat. It's just an aristocrat that I used to drain people with because, you know, a little bit of life gain in Korvold. I'm going to be sacking creatures left and right. It's just to make sure that I have life to pay for all the things that I want to do. Vampire Hexmage. Now, Vampire Hexmage is an interesting choice. 2 mana for a Vampire Shaman, 2/1 with first strike. I may sacrifice Vampire Hexmage to remove all counters from target permanent. Now, target permanent is a very interesting choice because you may have it does planeswalkers. Yeah. You can use it for Dark Depths, you know. For lots of things, possibly Infect, you know. But you'll see why this is in the deck later.
Now it says target permanent. Can you remove it from yourself?
No, that would be target player.
Ah, damn.
The player is not a permanent.
Player is subject to removal. We're here.
Yes, here it is.
There he is.
Oh my God! It's money. Get him.
This is the golden pig of the deck. This is a Dockside Extortionist. 1 generic and 1 red for a 1/2 goblin pirate. When it enters the battlefield, I create X treasures, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments my opponents control. This is what allows a lot of decks to just go over the top of just the amount. But Korvold especially, due to the fact that you can sacrifice. You sacrifice a treasure to draw cards on top of the mana you're already gaining. I usually try to get this little bugger out as fast as possible with all of the cards that you've seen here so far. You know, he's mainly the focus of the deck, due to just the sheer synergy he provides. All right, let's move on to understand what makes Dockside Distortionist the best card in this deck with all the other cards here.
Goblin Bombardment.
Goblin Bombardment, another sack outlet, and it also has interaction with opponents and their creatures. Sacrifice a creature. This card deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Animate that. More
reanimation.
More exactly. More reanimation for the cards that you've just chucked into the graveyard. Underworld Breach. Underworld Breach is an enchantment, 1 generic, 1 red. Each non-land card in my graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost, plus I have to exile 3 other cards from my graveyard. At the beginning of the end step, I sacrifice Underworld Breach. Underworld Breach is to take it allows my graveyard a second chance to be able to just go off. In the sense of if I've been sacking a lot of permanents and I've been milling, and there's things I want in the graveyard that I need to play now to win, I can play Underworld Breach and just start chucking things out onto the board from the graveyard.
Right.
And worst case scenario, I can do nothing with it, or my graveyard gets exiled. At the end, I sacrifice it, which allows me to draw a card from Korvold. So it's a little bit of a parting gift for me. Next is Ligma. Lignify is it's been under most people's radars because usually with commanders, once you remove them, they're able to cast them again. But what if they couldn't? And what if their commander was just something else? Lignify allows you to turn the commander into something else with into a 0/4 tree folk with no abilities. So they can barely even use it now. Unless like they bounce it or sack it or something.
That's just some commander hate right there.
Just in case, there's a lot of strong commanders out there, and you need to make sure they're not impeding your plans.
Like other Korvolds.
Regrowth, return 1 generic, 1 green sorcery. Return target card from a group to your hand. This is just to get back any other cards that you might have wanted.
Yeah.
Cathartic Reunion, 1 generic, 1 red sorcery. As an additional cost to cast Cathartic Reunion, discard 2 cards, draw 3 cards. This allows you to once again chuck things that you might want in the graveyard, and draw 3 cards on top of that. So it's another quick little spell to sift through your deck to sift through your deck better. Diabolic Intent. Diabolic Intent is a sorcery, 1 generic, 1 black. As an additional cost to cast this spell, I must sacrifice a creature. When I do, it tutors my library for any card. Yep. 3 visits, a little bit of ramp.
3 visits is
Twin Flame. We if you guys are familiar with Twin Flame, you might know that what other card is coming up. This allows me to choose an immortal creatures I control. For each of them, I put a token as a copy of that creature onto the battlefield. Those tokens have haste. I exile them at the beginning of the next end step. So in case there's any other creatures that I might want to duplicate, I can use Twin Flame, and then I can maybe go back and use Regrowth to go ahead and do it again. But this is a combo deck, so we'll see. Let's see what this combo is with. No. Persist. 2-drop sorcery. Return target non-legendary creature for a creature card from a graveyard to the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter on it. Just more resurrection here. Demonic Tutor. You know.
Money. Who said money?
Silence you. Sakura Triboulder. Here we have Steve. Everyone loves Steve. I may sacrifice him to search my library for a basic land and put that card on the battlefield tapped. It's simple enough. With Korvold out, I got to draw a card. We kind of get the gist of it. Lotus Cobra for more mana facing, especially with the fetch lands that I have in my deck. Bloom Tender, another mana dork that allows me to add a color from each permanent that I have. So if I have 1 green, I can add a green. If I had a green red, I can add green red, and so on for black, up to 3 mana. Blood Artist, more aristocrats during my opponents gain life to pay for the costs.
This time a Russian one.
Yes, both my aristocrats are Russian. Elvish Visionary, just another 2-drop. Draw in his battlefield, draw a card. That's to sift through my deck better. Sudden Spoiling. All right, now Sudden Spoiling. 3 mana instant, split second. Until end of turn, creatures target player controls loses all abilities and have base power 0-2. Now, I would like to. I've gone around. I would have liked to make this deck CEDH, but due to budget constraints, I can't. And a lot of in CEDH, players have answers. Players throw around answers like water balloons, so what if you want your spell to actually go through? Split second is a great answer to that.
It ensures that if you're popping off with something, you just throw that in and
it's a wrench in the gears. Unfortunately, it doesn't work against Thassa's Oracle or any other things like that, But it's still great to have in here when you're trying to go CEDH. Wait. Speaking of which, Crows and Grip, another when you want to tell someone stop once again,
Stop it. Get some help.
Split second, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Harrow, more mana facing, but this time you sack a land, which allows you to draw a card.
Through Korvold.
Through Korvold.
There's a lot.
There's indeed a lot here. Dismember, just in case for all you, for any indestructible boys out there. One generic and 2 black Phyrexian mana. Target creature gets -5 until end of turn. This is great against things like Toski, or any other indestructible boy that's below 5 or at 5. Beast Within, destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast. More targeted removal. Court of Calling. This allows you to instantly get any creature card. This allows you to get any creature card in your deck where equal to its cost, whatever cost that may be, and put it on the battlefield. Just in case you want to search for any other combo pieces. Force of Despair. If it's not 3 mana, if it's not my 3 mana, 1 generic, 2 black. If it's on my turn, I may exile a black card from my hand rather than the spell's rather than pay the spell's cost. Destroy all creatures that enter the battlefield this turn. Unfortunately, once again, this doesn't work against Thassa's Oracle, but it can go against it can work against any other opponents trying to go wide. In case they have like a full swing at you.
The moment your opponent
and
pops off,
if you just don't have the mana, but you happen to have a black card in hand, this has your back. You can really catch someone off guard with this, like, oh, I have no mana. Yeah, psych. Astronaut's Altar, another great sack outlet, which gives you a generic mana. You may do with that mana as you please. Victimize, more recursion, but this one allows you to sacrifice a creature on top of the things you're recurring, which you may be able to draw a card from Korvold. Eldritch Evolution. Now, this is mainly used on Korvold for a finisher, which I shall show later in the deck. We're getting kind of thin here, so we should be wrapping up soon. 1 generic, 2 green for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this card, sacrifice a creature. I may search my library for a creature card with CMC X or less, where X is 2 plus the sacrifice creature's converted mana cost, and put the card into the battlefield. Shuffle my library and exile this. I usually tend to win most games with this card.
Yeah, I was gonna say Eldritch Evolution is better than most people think. It's a 3-drop that gets you usually gets an answer that you need.
This is an entirely new card to me. I like its concept too.
You never saw this before? This
No.
came out mad long ago.
Yeah, you can tell by the
Eldritch
set.
Moon.
It came out in Eldritch Moon. I should have known about it, but I don't.
I think people out here would rather run like Xanathar, or
Falling is also a good
or maybe like a Birthing Pod, because you can keep using it, unlike Eldritch Evolution. The Eldritch Evolution is kind of a one shot.
It exiles itself, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Springbloom Druid, another mana fixing, and expendable as all hell, so you can just yeet him in the graveyard when you don't need him.
Eat 'em.
Mayhem Devil. Mayhem Devil is another win con for me personally, especially with the dark side. You know, anything whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, Mayhem Devil does 1 damage to any target. Simple. Let's see. Next up, Opposition Agent. The Op Agent. Opposition Agent is it's the bane of some players out here.
Juan hates anyone who carries this, so obviously he hates both of us.
You have an Op Agent?
Of course I have an Op Agent.
What deck?
Illithids.
Ew. That's why I never see.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Two generic and 1 black for a human rogue, 3/2 with flash. You control your opponents while they're searching their libraries. While an opponent is searching their library, they exile each card they find. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast them.
Great card, great card. So, Op Agent's great. What comes after that?
Well, let's find out. Dual Caster Mage.
Oh, there's the Infinite.
Yeah, dual Caster Mage.
Oh, you have the Infinite.
Yes, I do have it.
I need a dual caster.
Nah, you're good.
You're good, bro.
Yo, give me that dual caster.
Yeah, go away, you. Dual Caster Mage is 1 generic and 2 red for a 2/2 human wizard. Whoops.
Oh, he hit me.
Whoops, the movement.
There you go, we're good.
Okay. When dual Caster Mage enters the battlefield, I may copy target instant or sorcery spell, and choose new targets for the copy. How the combo works here? Allow me to go back and show it. If one does not know. Matter of fact, cut this part out, and I'll later in the video I'll just go into how most combos work.
Bet.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Do it.
Yeah. Eternal Witness, more recursion. When generic, 2 green, human shaman 2/1. When E-Witness enters the battlefield, I may return target card from a graveyard to my hand. You know, pretty simple. Imperial Recruiter, another tutor for usually dark side or any other psych outlet that I might want. Tireless Tracker. Tireless Tracker is I personally love it in this deck due to the fact that with all the lands that I'm using, when the lands enter the battlefield, I investigate. Investigate is a colorless clue artifact token with 2 sacrifices artifact, draw a card. Korvold loves when things are sacked.
He loves the sack.
He loves the sack. But it's not just Korvold benefiting off of this too. Whenever I sacrifice a clue, I mean, Tireless Tracker gets stronger with a 1/1 counter. You know, it's another way to sift through your deck faster, as well as being able to sack other things that aren't the permanents that you need to Korvold. Bolt Bend, you know, this is a part where my budget is restricted here.
Where my budget shows up.
Bolt Bend is usually a great alternative to Deflecting Swat when you don't have Deflecting Swat. This spell costs it's a 4-drop instant, 3 generic, 1 red. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, which is usually Korvold. I may change the target of target spell or ability with a single target.
So any targeted removal.
Any targeted removal, yeah, usually. If someone tries to take control of my turn, I can go no. You know, I take control of his turn just in case. It isn't free to cast like Deflecting Swat is, but it's a decent alternative.
Yeah.
Grave Pact, in case I don't like my opponents and I want the creatures to keep the creatures off the field. Whenever any creature I control is put into a graveyard, each other player sacrifices a creature. This is a very oppressive card right here. Usually people do not like when this is out in a Korvold deck due to just how often I sacrifice creatures. Which it's great for me. I don't have to worry about much things on the board. But when you're playing against stronger players, they usually tend to care about the cards they have in their hand.
Yeah.
Baleful Mastery. You know, once again, as a alternative to a card, I can't remember, but I know it does the same thing. Fuck, I'll just pause it right here.
Oh man, he's looking for it. We're doing it live.
No, it's
Oh, it's live.
So, what is it again?
So you figured out what that card should be replaced with?
Yeah, just okay. In the video, just like cut it out and then.
It's too late. We're here.
No, it's a silence.
What is it?
It's a stand-in for Deadly Rollick. Deadly Rollick. Let's see here. Fortunately, this also does Planeswalkers as well, which is great. Unlike Deadly Rollick, I may pay 2 rather than pay the spell's mana cost. If this alternative cost was paid, my opponent draws a card, but that doesn't. Sometimes it might hurt, sometimes it doesn't. But you know, removal is removal, and exile is exile. This here we have another little combo piece, a Teamer Sabertooth. This is what usually wins with Dockside. You know, I may get it out with.
So if you have at least
Eldritch
what,
Evolution.
3 mana?
5.
If 5?
5.
5.
5.
Why 5?
5. Two to cast, 2 to bounce, 1 extra for the infinite.
Ah, there you go. I understand.
Phyrexian Delver. Phyrexian Delver is in here for just more recursion, and for he's also a combo piece for I believe the next card that might be coming up here. Mikaeus.
The Undying.
Mikaeus is once again he's part of a combo. He's great with Dockside due to the Undying, as well as a bunch of other creatures. Once I have him out on the board, I can begin to juggle all the creatures that I have on the board. Once I have that Vampire Hexmage out, I'm able to just really go off. Unfortunately, with Phyrexian Delver, I have to keep losing the life. You know, but once that goes on, or rather I go off, I can go ahead and you know, get ahead of my opponents. You know, and final card here, I believe, is it? Yes, here it is. It's Protean Hulk.
Oh, it's Protean Hulk.
Protean Hulk, yes, indeed, Protean Hulk. Everyone loves Protean Hulk.
Ew.
Protean Hulk is a 7-drop, 5 mana, 5 generic, 2 green, for a 6/6 beast. When Protean Hulk dies, I may search my library for any number of creature cards with total converted mana cost 6 or less, and put them onto the battlefield and shuffle my library. This card just makes getting things out easy. My deck doesn't really need it, but it's just so easy. It makes everything so easy.
Benefits greatly from having.
Correct.
All right, that's the last. What is that? CMC card in the deck.
Yes.
Let's talk about those lands, Carlos. What do you got?
Let's see here. Starting off simple, we have a little bit of a command tower. Everyone runs command tower. Fabled Passage. This is a kind of a pseudo fetch land. You know, great synergy with Korvold, especially if you're able to have like a Ramen up in the deck where you can recycle them. Next, we have Lotus Field. Lotus Field, the hexproof, enters battlefield tapped. When Lotus Field enters the battlefield, I have to sacrifice 2 lands, and it allows me to add 3 mana of any one color to my mana pool. This is great when Korvold is out and I have just an extravagant amount of lands, or I need mana fixing. Just play this, sacrifice these 2, you know, or whichever. Draw 2 cards, and I have mana right here. It's great. It's great. Next up is Reflecting Pool. Add 1 mana of any type that a land I control could produce. Exotic Orchard. Exotic Orchard. Add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Another land here, Treasure Vault. Treasure Vault adds a generic, but the ability here is what I'm after. 2x. Sacrifice Treasure Vault and create X treasure tokens. Now, when you have a lot of lands out and you just need something to synergize real quick, you can pay as much as you want, sacrifice at anyone's end step. And with Korvold out, you're able to draw a card and just have a bunch of mana out.
And a lot of draw possibility.
And a lot of draw.
Yeah.
Tectonic Edge for land removal, in case anyone decides to, you know, bring a Guy's Cradle or any other lands that you don't want on the board. Phyrexian Tower allows me to sack my creatures for mana, which is great. For two blocks specifically. Dragon Skull Summit. Dragon Skull, whenever this enters the battlefield tapped unless I control a swamp or a mountain, which I usually do. I would like to replace these lands with something else, but with Tainted Pact in the deck, I kind of have to have these in there so I don't whiff. Next up is Game Trail. When it enters the battlefield tapped unless I reveal a mountain or a forest card in my hand. Nurturing Peatland. It's a little pain land, but I may pay 1 generic to sacrifice it and draw a card, which of Korvold is I may draw. Yeah, I'm able to draw 2 cards with it.
It hurts.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Life is a resource. Next up, we have Llanowar Waste. Add 1 generic to my mana pool. I may add a red or a black, but it deals 1 damage to me. Again, unfortunately, unlike Peatland, it doesn't allow me to draw a card, but it's here for mana fixing. Rootbound Crag. So now it's another check land. Windswept Heath. Here comes the fetch lands right here. Great with Korvold. Allows me to get up 180 quickly. You know. Let's see here. Marsh Flats. Arid Mesa. Overgrown Tomb. This is what these are the targets that I get with my fetch lands. This is mainly because they have they're swamp forests, you know. They're great. I may pay 2 life and they enter the battlefield untapped. Following up, we have Blood Crypt, another shock land, and Stomping Grounds. Finally, moving on to some other things here. Something close to shock lands, Cinderglade. You know, just enters the battlefield tapped unless I control 2 or more basic lands, which I'm trying to cut down. I might replace this with something else. And then next up, we just have let's see, basics. Really nice looking basics.
4 green.
4 green. 4 black. Keeping 4 black, and 2 red. I'm trying to cut down on these due to Tainted Pact, but I might keep some. But this is a good amount to keep in when you have things that fetch for basic lands like Springbloom Druid.
So those are all the lands. Let's talk about the win cons and how truly oppressive this deck is. Back to those combo pieces.
Darkside Distortion is just an amazing card. Too good for anyone's sake.
You don't say.
It'll, which is why I'll be showing you what combos you can, what combos can be done in this deck with Darkside Distortions. Starting from the top here. Here's a combo right here. Simple 5 card combo. Fresh and Reclamation, Darkside Distortionist, any sack outlet really, and 2 Aristocrats. What you're gonna want to do here is play Darkside. Make sure you have 4 or 5 treasures out. Sacrifice Darkside Distortionist to Viscerous here, triggering your 2 Aristocrats, Blood Artist and Zulaport Cutthroat, to circumvent the 2 life loss from Fresh and Reclamation. So sacrifice Darkside. With the 2 treasures with the treasure that you just gained, pay for Fresh and Reclamation, bring it back to your hand, and then sacrifice some more treasures to play him again. As long as you have a surplus of treasures at your disposal, you're able to just continue sacking Darkside and draining your opponents while you do so, as well as possibly gaining infinite mana.
Your enemy to have artifacts or enchantments.
Correct. That is the one.
Determining on the board state is what really pops it off. Correct.
I mean, unless you use the treasure vault that I put in this deck to not rely on your opponents, it's a nice way to, you know, just have your own back. Moving on to the next combo. Same combo here, but with a lot less cards and more simple. Darkside Distortionist and Team Sabertooth, where you're able to you must have 5 treasures at your disposal for this combo to also work. Where you sacrifice 2 treasures, bounce it back to your hand, pay the 2, and then just keep bouncing Darkside up and down until you have infinite treasures. Which at some point you'll be able to cast Korvold and draw your deck out while also playing the cards. Just make sure to not deck out with Korvold. Third quick combo right here, which is a dual caster mage and twin flame. You cast twin flame on any creature, and before it resolves, you flash in dual caster mage to gain infinite 2/2 hasters.
So, Carlos, thank you for showing off the power. I know there's a crap ton more combos that you can show us.
There's only one more, which I'll let the audience figure out for themselves.
So, what can be said about this Korvold? It is certainly nothing like mine. I'll tell you that for free.
The Korvold that I've built, you know, Korvold, the combo cursed king.
The combo cursed king.
Yeah, is this Korvold is a fast combo-centric deck which specializes in consistency, but sometimes lacks in just overall power and board presence.
That being said, thank you for coming out, showing us what a true close to CEDH deck looks like. This is like the deck that's right below the CEDH.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you think you're stepping into the big leagues? This is the gatekeeper that reminds us, yeah, you're not there yet.
It's like being better than all your friends at fighting games, but not being good enough to go pro.
To go to EVO.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much for checking us out,
It's
Carlos.
been my pleasure.
I'll see you next time.